Whether you're brand new to Mythic Plus or looking to push to Keystone Master or Keystone Hero, stick around because in this video, I'm sharing the best add-ons to help take your Mythic Plus to the next level. I want to encourage you, click the link in the description to get plugged into my live stream where I do these recordings live and do Mythic Plus with the community. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to break down these add-ons into 3 categories: basic, intermediate, and advanced. Now, these are not determining the skill level of the individual doing the Mythic Plus, rather the difficulty of how to set up and understand these add-ons. I want to explain real quick, why are add-ons even necessary? It's a pretty common topic in World of Warcraft of like, do we even need add-ons? Why should I download them? And really, here's how I break down add-ons. Add-ons are important because your ability to excel and improve at World of Warcraft is determined by this: your ability to gather information and then make the best decisions possible based on the information you've gathered. As you see on screen, there's a lot happening all at once. And the reality is the best players gather the information and make better decisions. And the add-ons we're going to talk about in this video are simply geared to help you gather information and make those best decisions. First one I want to talk about in the basic category is simply GTFO. Now that stands for Get Thy Feet Out. But here's the deal. GTFO is a very, very simple add-on to use and understand. It is simply just going to make noise when you are standing in something that you shouldn't. For example, you see on screen, we had a second ago, we had some sanguine, we got the green circles, that red blood pool, that sanguine right there. If you are accidentally standing in something you shouldn't, it's just gonna literally make an obnoxious noise at you until you just simply get out of it. You can customize the sound, you can customize the volume, but this is very useful because a lot of people, especially when they're first getting into WoW, they tunnel vision and they don't realize they're stepping in something that is slowly draining their health. And that is really going to help you. Number 2 is an add-on called Warp Deplete. Now this one, some people might say is just for preference, but there's a reason why I think a lot of people should use this add-on or one like it. If you look over on the right side of the screen, this is basically Warp Deplete here. If you're new to Mythic Plus, when you join a key, what it's going to do is it's basically going to show you the timer in which you have to complete the key. It's going to show you the bosses that you've defeated, and it's going to show how many overall deaths you have and everything. In my opinion, this just looks better than the default, but it's more than just it looking better. It actually offers, in my opinion, valuable information. If you see right here, it's kind of broken down into these 3 categories. That shows whether they're going to 3 chests, 2 chests, or 1 chest a key. And for me, I think when people can see the markers and milestones of how close you are to either 3 chesting or 2 chesting, kind of motivates me to keep on pushing harder. Because like, man, if we really keep pumping, then we'll end up 2 chesting this rather than 1 chesting, meaning the key will get boosted and your group will get more gear. And so for me, I feel like it's a little bit of a motivator. So I would really encourage you to be able to download that, not only to keep you motivated, but for me, it actually helps me track my progress. Like if I do a +8 and I 1 chested it, but then a week or 2 later, I'm like, dang, dude, I'm doing an 8, but now we 2 or 3 chested it. It's kind of like a milestone that you can be able to tell that you're making progress. Third add-on for the basic category actually isn't an add-on. It's really more of a bonus tip, but I really want to encourage you to take a look at your user interface. Now, Blizzard has done a great job with honestly just the default UI, where you are actually able to really customize things again, so you can gather information. If you notice over here, these are my debuffs. I have moved them to a place where I can actually be able to see rather than the top right side of my screen where my eyes never are. And so I want to encourage you to mess with your UI, put the information in a place that is really easy for you to understand. And if you guys enjoy the UI that I use an add-on called ElvUI, and you can actually get my exact profile simply with an easy copy and paste code. I really designed this in a way. I started with Quasi's profile. I did a lot of changes to make it really beneficial for tanks, healers, and DPS. And if you guys want that to help Mythic Plus, I'll put a link in the description below. Or of course, you can come over to my Twitch channel, link in the description, and type !UI in the chat. Moving over to the intermediate category, I want to start off with the plater nameplates. Now, if you see above these ads, these are their nameplates, and you can tell right off the bat, these are not the default nameplates. And this is so important. All of these add-ons I'm mentioning here are ones that I think are really valuable, but in my opinion, plater nameplates might be one of the most important. Again, we talked about the importance of gathering information. On your screen, there's just so much happening all the time, and the nameplates will do a few things. Not only do they have a health bar, but they give you an exact percentage. An exact percentage is important because as a DPS, you can plan, hey, how close am I to 20%? Meaning I can now start doing maybe an execute or a paladin hammer of wrath. as a tank, you can start planning, hey, how close are we to 30% so I can plan around the raging affix when they'll no longer be crowd controllable, which everyone can actually plan for. Seeing the exact percentage is super duper helpful. But most importantly, what it does is it makes their cast bars a little easier to be able to see and notice. One of the biggest reasons that people do not time keys is they do not interrupt important abilities in the right amount of time. And so by having plated nameplates, even if you just use the default profile, which honestly I do, you don't have to tweak anything. I think it has everything you need built right in. But if you do want to tweak it, want to tweak colors, sizes, the font, anything like that can also be tweaked. But honestly, I use just default, and you see me in this video, we're doing a +20, and I think you can really be able to do any key at any level with just the default, and I think you'll be just fine. Second one in the intermediate category is something called big wigs and little wigs. Now, I want to show you actually in game, because this is the add-on that I'm talking about. Maybe you've heard of something called boss timers. Boss timers are essentially the game pretty much telling you what the boss is about to do next. They're about to do a frontal breath, or this mechanic is coming up, whatever it might be. Now, big wigs are boss timers for raids. Little wigs are what you need to download as like an additional add-on for the use of Mythic Plus. Once you download those two add-ons, and again, I'll put all these in the description below, you just go in game and you type /BW. This one, again, can be really intricate, really advanced, but you can use it pretty much right out of the box with some simple customization. If you don't want to tweak too much, here's literally all that I've done for mine. You open up the add-on, and all you do is hit show moving anchors, and you'll be able to see all of these bars very easily. You can see right here the bars of what's coming up in the next minute or 30 seconds. This emphasize bar is what's about to come in the next 10 seconds. Emphasize messages right on my character to tell me like, hey, this is happening, or this person has this debuff, whatever it might be. It just gives you, again, information so you can make the best decisions. There's like a ton of tweaking you can do, but all I did was literally just move things around to not only be where my eyes will be, but to be on top of the bars that I want them to be. So for example, you can tell that these bars are perfectly lined up with my player frame. This one is perfectly lined up with the target and target of target. So I obviously did some simple tweaking by just grabbing these white lines right here just to make it look clean, but that's honestly all I did. So it's pretty basic to set up, but I put it in the intermediate category because if you want, you can get really advanced with it, but you absolutely do not have to. Lastly, I want to move on to the advanced category, and this one is where it starts getting a little crazy, but don't be intimidated. Some of these, again, they can be used on a simple way, but if you want to take them to an advanced level, you absolutely can. First one is an add-on called MDT, which stands for Mythic Dungeon Tools. Now this one, some people might argue that this is only a tank add-on, which is what I mostly play, but I would argue that everyone can benefit from having Mythic Dungeon Tools. Basically what it does is it shows you all of the dungeons, and it shows you all of the mobs, and it shows you all of the bosses. It looks super overwhelming, but all you have to do at first is if you go to certain websites, which I'll put a link in the description below to one of the ones that I use, you can actually download the routes that other people use. And what this will really help you understand is not only the exact route you should take to make sure that you end up at 100% by the last boss, but the really cool part of this is you can actually click on individual mobs. If you right click on them, it'll actually tell you every single ability that they do. And so I really encourage people, like if you're really trying to take your Mythic Plus knowledge to the next level, again, what did I say earlier? Getting better at WoW is all about gathering information and making the best decisions possible based off the information you have been given. And this add-on gives you an insane amount of information. I mean, literally every single mob can be clicked on. It'll tell you how much percentage it gives you. It'll tell you every single one of its abilities. It is super beneficial. Again, it's Mythic Dungeon Tools. I'll put a link in the description below. Second to last add-on is Omni CD. Now this one is very, very beneficial. What this add-on does is it shows you the cooldowns of all of your teammates in your party. You'll see it represented right here to the left of all their nameplates. It is customizable. You can move it, what side you want to be on, change its size and everything. But honestly, this one can be used pretty out of the box. I didn't really change too much about it, but I put it in the advanced category because most people that have this don't really utilize it. This is the one add-on that is easy to understand, but is probably only used properly by the advanced player. And what I mean by that is by using the information it gives you, you can make the best decisions. So for example, as a tank, which is what I main, if I see that all of my DPS teammates and my healer, they have their cooldowns available, well, then I know, okay, well, I can make a big pull here because my team is going to be ready for it. My DPS are going to have lots of cooldowns, which means these adds are going to go down quicker. And my healer is going to be able to keep us alive because they have cooldowns based on what this add-on will tell you. But I've seen so many people just have this add-on because like other people use it, but they're really not doing anything with the information that it's giving you. Omni Cooldown is a great add-on. I'd really recommend you using. Weak Auras is the final add-on we're going to talk about. And this is probably the one I get asked the most questions about. Now, most people that hear about weak auras, they think just these abilities in the middle. And that is a limited understanding of weak auras because weak auras isn't just these abilities. The best way I can describe weak auras is it's almost like CurseForge. CurseForge, if you guys don't know, is the place where you're going to go and download all these add-ons, right? All of your add-ons are stored within CurseForge. The way weak auras works, if you go into the game and type /WA, I think of weak auras almost like CurseForge, where it is a place that holds all of your individual weak auras. It's a little bit complicated. I kind of wish they had different names, but they're all just called weak auras. The add-ons called weak auras, the individual things called weak auras. That's where I think the confusion comes from. But weak auras is so important because there are individual weak auras you can download from Mythic Plus that are super helpful. For example, if you're watching this video during the time of season 2, when the afflicted affix came up, which means those mobs that come up that need to be healed or dispelled, sometimes you just don't even notice they're on screen. But if you notice at the bottom here, what happens is when they appear, then these bars will appear and I can move them wherever I want them to go so that I notice. And now I notice, oh, they're somewhere on the screen. Where are they? I can look out for them and dispel them. It gives you things like the circle on your cursor, which I use, so that even when I'm right clicking to move my camera, it doesn't go away. There are endless amounts of weak auras to download, and I'll put a link in the description below to Wago so you guys can actually see which ones you want best. And if you guys want to come to my live stream, I'll be able to tell you guys which ones that I use, and you guys can also use those if you want. But weak auras will be super helpful. And lastly, I do want to touch on what is in the middle of the screen here. I'm going to recommend you to a website called Luxtos. I'm going to show it on screen and in the description below. This guy is a lifesaver. He has developed in the World of Warcraft category weak auras for literally every single class and spec in the game. There are tons of other weak auras out there, but if you're looking to use weak auras on a beginner level that are pretty ready to use right out of the box, I really would recommend Luxtos. Like I said, they're easy to understand, easy to use, and I use his and I've had no problems with it. I've customized a little bit of the appearance, and let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to make an entire video on how I have customized and used weak auras. I would say I'm probably beginner to intermediate at how I use weak auras, but I think even the tips that I've learned about them could really add a lot of value to people who don't know anything about weak auras. But they are super crucial because, again, what do all add-ons do? At least what they should do. Give you information to make the most educated decisions in every moment, and that's exactly what these weak auras will do. They'll show you your cooldowns, they'll show you your health, they'll show you if you have any class resources like mana, focus, energy, whatever. They'll show you everything you need right in the center of the screen without you having to look everywhere and without you having to, have your eyes bouncing all around the screen. If you guys download these add-ons, I really, really believe they will help take your gameplay to the next level in Mythic Plus. If you guys got any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below, or of course in the description. Come join our live stream where I run Mythic Plus with the community. I do all this kind of stuff live on stream. We got multiple raid teams on our Discord, which I really want to encourage you to join. Unity Gaming. We're on a mission to bring an end to toxicity and loneliness in the World of Warcraft community, and we'd love to add some value to give you people to play World of Warcraft with, because I believe strongly that life and gaming is better together. Hope you got value to this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We'll catch you in the next one.